Testing.
Good.
You sound good?
Yes, sir.
Hello.
All right, cool. We're good. All right, so welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for joining another week. Hold on one second here. Sorry. All right, so this week we're going to be covering NFTs, crypto, basic understanding of the metaverse. We have a special guest. He goes by Twitter handle, Instagram handle, Mufasa. He's a Lion King fan. So he's going to come here, describe what NFT. He's going to answer your questions. He's an admin for Malik NAR Trades. Great guy, lives in New York, young, medical lab science major. He tutors, and he's about to finish school and working the great career as a medical scientist. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. Almost done. I'm going to start my clinicals next year.
So he's done this presentation before on with Malik on NAR Trades, and he's granted us the opportunity to kind of share his information and knowledge here today. So we're going to start off with non-fungible tokens, and everybody's heard the term. We know if you define it, fungible is like a commodity, right? Something that can be exchanged. So non-fungible is the opposite, right? Something that can't be exchanged. And we're going to kind of get into what a non-fungible token is. And I'm going to give him the screen so he can share the screen. And the floor is yours. You guys can ask questions as we go on, and as he's presenting, you can ask any questions you need to.
Okay. So I've prepared a presentation. I really start from I'm not sure if you guys already covered like the basics of crypto and like chains and coins and such, but I guess I could quickly go through that, and hopefully we can get some questions piled on from there. If I move too fast, let me know. And we will get to NFTs and then into the metaverse, and I'll also try to give a small demonstration to show the projects I'm invested in that I think are cool, and an easy way for you to find good projects, using CoinMarketCap and making sure you do your due diligence before you invest your hard-earned money. So without further ado, we're going to talk about crypto, CoinMarketCap. It's a website platform that you can use to view the market cap of certain coins. And also, different projects. I think they also have some NFT integration right now, pretty sure. Different kinds of crypto exchanges, and then your gate to crypto, which is the MetaMask wallet. It can live on your phone. It can live on your browser as an extension. Really, you can have access to your coins at any time. And then we'll talk a little bit about staking and DeFi, so you can earn some passive income, and then right into NFTs and NFT marketplaces, NFT staking. Also, Mars Colony was a project that I'm really interested in, and I'm currently invested in. So far, it's been doing okay, and there's more to come. And also, obviously, the Q&A. So here we start with understanding cryptocurrency. Basically, it's a digital currency, like we all know, that's backed by a blockchain, right? Or the ledger. So imagine you got a big ledger, big piece of paper, split up into blocks. That's where the blockchain comes from, and all transactions are logged on this ledger, the blockchain, right? Now, the distinction between a coin and a token, right, is that an asset with its own blockchain is called a coin, and an asset running on a parent blockchain, it's not the native coin token, would be called a token. So I use crypto or CoinMarketCap because it's a useful tool to view charts of like prices and the action of crypto, and also the stats that are under the hood, so to speak, for the market cap and circulating supply and total supply, which are really important for you to determine your point of entry, right? Because at the end of the day, you have your money, you have your hard-earned cash, and you want to leverage that capital into projects that you think are promising, right? So this is a very, very, very basic first step to understand how to utilize the market cap and the circulating supply of a coin. I'm sure Penny Slayer talks about that, or you guys have gone over this, but so we understand that what the price is, circulating supply divided by the market cap, and yeah, moving on. So here we come to the exchanges, right? So you generally have two different kinds of exchanges, and they're technically, their job is to transact coins or tokens back and forth, but they operate fundamentally different for the most part. So a centralized exchange will be an exchange that is not owned by the decentralized community. It's basically a company, right? And they hold a lot of crypto, and you make an account, you can transfer your fiat for crypto in this way. So that's how you use a centralized exchange. Since I live in New York, I'm really restricted to using just Coinbase here. But then I can also use KuCoin because it's a platform that you can use without KYC verification, as far as I know. So I use KuCoin for transacting coins that aren't available on Coinbase.
Is that mostly like altcoins type of stuff?
Yeah, so they have it's more like, so Coinbase is gonna have the really big coins with large market caps, reliable, vetted projects. But there are still chains that are not supported on Coinbase. So for the most part, I use KuCoin to be able to do a lot more mainnet transactions. So what that means is, for example, let's say I want to convert my Ethereum to Bitcoin, for example, right? Now, there are centralized or decentralized exchanges, right? And which I'll get into. Those are going to cost a transaction fee because it's performing the transaction on the blockchain, but it's happening on both sides as well. So you're gonna pay. It's something called a bridge, right? You can have a decentralized bridge, and it'll perform the transaction. Let's say if you starts on the Ethereum chain, you have native Ethereum coin, and you can move it to Bitcoin by transacting through both changes through a bridge. So when it comes to going cross chain, I like to use centralized exchanges because they have one flat fee for any kind of transaction, generally speaking, and you can just convert to cash, right, and then convert back into the coin. So really, the distinction here lies is the usage of fiat to be a bridge instead of just the coin to coin transaction, and you pay the fees in each coin. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and okay, so when is the actual like utility going to take place? Because I mean, that's the biggest thing, right? With these with all these coins, and the biggest kind of like criticism, right? Are we ever going to be able to use Bitcoin to make purchases? And why would somebody make a purchase with Bitcoin? They give the example of the guys that bought a bunch of pizza, like so many years ago that it would have been worth like the amount of a Ferrari.
Yes.
So when is it going to be utility where are we going to actually use Bitcoin to buy? Are we going to just use it to transfer money from one country to another? And if we are going to use it just for transferring, then what's the difference between that and PayPal and Venmo and Western Union and those kind of things?
Right. So I think the important distinction to make here is the cryptocurrency market is a completely separate financial institution, a decentralized financial institution. So whenever you're discussing moving currency, right, you have to understand what are you holding and that's typically what you want to send. So let's say I have some US dollars, right? That's entrenched in the United States financial market. Right now, there are services like Western Union where I can make a money order, for example, and I can send it or just simply transfer money to somebody by name. So they would go to a different Western Union. They would go to a different branch of Western Union, and then they, show their ID, and then they can claim the money. Right. So the parallel here lies is that the decentralized market involves wallet to wallet transactions. Right. Anyone can make a wallet as long as they remember their secret phrase, that wallet is their key to utilizing their currency, right? Their coins, their money, right? So it can be stored in different forms, right? It can be stored as Bitcoin, it can be stored as Ethereum, right? And the value of that specific asset is tied technically to the consideration we have. So when we go to work, we have a job, we earn whatever currency that is native to our country, right? Now, the profitability, or the way you leverage your capital with crypto is that the asset is still tied to that fiat currency, and the ability for you to be able to convert from one to another at differing price points is right. The different price points, that arbitrage, that's where you make your money. That's where your advantage lies, right? But yeah, so to answer your question about transferring money, right? The advantage to just transferring Bitcoin to somebody across the world, all you need is their wallet address and how much Bitcoin they want from you, right? And then that is, since we agree on this financial system to have value, it operates the same way we agree that the US dollar is $1 US, right? So one Bitcoin will always be one Bitcoin, right?
Yeah.
But the value of one Bitcoin to $1 US, that's something that changes.
Okay.
So you also have to be mindful of that. So what are you more concerned about? Are you more concerned about the amount of Bitcoin you have, or are you more concerned about the amount of USD you're going to earn from that?
Got it.
I hope that answers the question. If you have a
Yeah.
follow-up, I'm more than willing to answer. But I also wanted to, sorry.
No follow-up. It was good.
Okay. So, so as I talk about a centralized exchange and a decentralized exchange, I think I hope it'll clear up any more questions. And feel free to ask in private chat. I'm more than willing to, or not private chat, in the chat, if you have any more questions. But so a centralized exchange, something like Coinbase, something like, I mean, you can even call Robinhood a broker, right? It's basically just a centralized exchange is a crypto broker. Their job is to be your entry into the crypto world. Why? Because you're transferring your fiat into this crypto, right? And then from there, the best way to really store your coins is to transfer it to a wallet, right? Because whenever you have a wallet, you have a private key that you didn't give to any other human being. That's your private key. And if you control the private key, you control the crypto. So if you have money sitting on an exchange, they can shut down the exchange whenever they want. The owners of Coinbase, the owners of KuCoin, the owners of Robinhood, Binance, and such, they can shut down that exchange whenever you want. They can restrict your withdrawals, right? But with a wallet, that full freedom is yours. So that's where a decentralized exchange comes in, because now this is a exchange, but it operates with a wallet, right? So you can go onto a website, connect your wallet onto this website, and it'll pull your balances, it'll see what you have, and you can convert to different coins on there. Now that depends on you performing the transaction fees from there, of that coin, of that chain that you're native on, right?
Is that kind of the biggest selling point? Because I always hear people, when they sell crypto, they say, "Oh, it's decentralized." Is is that one of the main features? I would say. I mean, and if it is the main feature, then I mean, in your lifetime or in anybody's lifetime, have you known anyone that they've had their money in a centralized location and they lost it all, or they didn't have access to it no more, or it was in a bank and they don't have access to it no more?
I honestly, yeah. I've had a friend, and he told me he lost his two-factor authentication for his KuCoin account, right? And so for some reason they weren't sending him the the 5-digit code or whatever it is to his phone anymore, right? Now it's ultimately the degree to which you utilize your security is going to determine if you're able to access your funds. But also, I mean, we've seen that Kraken is I think it's an exchange that's based in Canada, and like from recent events, they were freezing people's Kraken accounts and they weren't able to access their Bitcoin anymore. I just that's a newsletter I've seen recently, But that happens. Like, I mean, there's the whole thing about like where an exchange is only as reputable as the, like, we have exchanges like Robinhood, for example, right? When you have crypto on Robinhood, you don't even actually own that crypto, right? Because like we've seen with, for example, like, we're kind of getting a little, I'm going to go off topic for a second, but the whole GameStop and AMC short squeeze fiasco that happened early last year, right?
Yeah.
Robinhood was preventing people from buying, for their own reasons. So they just said one day, like, imagine one day you needed to, sell your Bitcoin, for example. But even with something like Robinhood, that's like a terrible example of a centralized exchange, because you can't actually send that coin off the platform. You would have to sell it into cash and then transfer that cash out. I can't directly, if somebody says send me one Ethereum right now, right? And I have, oh yeah, I have my Ethereum on Robinhood. Give me a second. But there's no crypto wallet address that you have on Robinhood. I can't send you Ethereum to your Robinhood account, and you can't send me Ethereum from your Robinhood account, for example. So the power really lies with you when you take your your assets off that centralized exchange and you store it yourself on a hardware wallet, or you store it on a web-based wallet, for example, right? Because you can access that wallet from anywhere in the world with an internet connection and your private key and your secret phrase. So, and once you have the private key and the secret phrase, you can send these coins or receive these coins from anywhere. So that's really the distinction I'm making. So I think we can move on to talking about, I'm going to get into that as well. So here's like some examples of like a decentralized exchange, right? So on the top here, I have it's just a screenshot from Uniswap, right? So if you go to uniswap.com, it'll say, enter app. You enter the application, and this is what you'll see on the top right. You can click connect wallet, right? And let's say you have a well, this is why I'm going to talk about MetaMask as well, because this is a wallet that's like has become very popular. It's completely decentralized. If you lose your private phrase, not even MetaMask can find it for you, because they don't know what your private phrase is. You can go in and you can change it at any time. You can request a new randomly generated phrase, and make sure that you always store your private phrase, somewhere on a piece of paper in a safe somewhere. Don't store it anywhere on the internet, right? Don't store it on your OneDrive. Don't store it on your Gmail. Don't store it on your Google Drive, because those things can be accessed by hackers. A piece of paper, a hacker cannot access, right? Let alone inside your safe, right? So when you have that power, you can come in here, you can go to a decentralized exchange, and you can perform the transactions that you're looking for. So you would connect to your wallet. And what's cool about MetaMask is that you can simply add like different networks to trade on. So you can hold coins from natively on Ethereum, for example, or natively on Bitcoin, or natively on Polygon, or natively on Phantom. There's many different Binance as well. There's a lot of different networks that you can add to your MetaMask wallet. So I have in one MetaMask wallet, I can store my Bitcoin, I can store my Ethereum, I can store my Polygon, I can store my Harmony 1 token, I can store my Binance coin, all natively, and you can send these across on their own chains to someone else's native wallet address, right? So I'll get into wallets in a second, but this is just a small image of what you'll see. You can select the network and then you can transact. You see the box over here on the left where it says, for example, you can swap Ethereum for, any other, select a token, right? After you connect your wallet. So
we shouldn't share it with a Nigerian prince that just needs a little bit of help or something?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to lose your money, you could do that. But yeah, like it really that's the thing.
Or like in the comments when it's like contact my WhatsApp, make sure you have like crypto or something.
Yeah, those are, that's the thing. You got to be careful because these scammers are getting smarter, right? Like they know exactly what to ask for, right? So if Mr. Nigerian Prince is asking for something, he's clearly asking for something that has a lot of potential value, right? So it really does. I think it goes to show even more, right? That the power is in your hands, right? You don't need to share that information. It's very recommended not to, right? But there's something like a wallet address, right? That's public. If I can give you my wallet address, for example, and then, you can just donate whatever Bitcoin you want.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Nigerian Prince is not going for that. He's going for the private key, right? So that's not what you want to do. But yeah, moving on, we get to the MetaMask wallet. I really love MetaMask because I think it's a good example of a truly decentralized wallet. Its utility is that I can access it anywhere on my phone. In the demonstration, I can show you guys as well. You can go to Chrome Web Store, right? Everybody can do this right now. You can go to let's say you have Chrome, let's say you have Microsoft Edge, let's say you have Browse, any different like browser. You add the MetaMask extension, right? And it functions as an application, right? That has a private key, and it gives you a wallet address, and you can send coins to it. So your first step, right, would be to transfer. Let's say, how do I get my cash into a crypto, right? You go to your centralized exchange, something like Coinbase, right? You make your account, set up your ID for tax purposes, and you're done. You transfer some money from your bank, you buy the coin, and you can withdraw it, paste in the wallet address that you get from the MetaMask account that you just created. Well, it's not an account, actually. You're creating a wallet, the MetaMask wallet you just created. That's it. Your coins are in your hands now. So anywhere in the world, I can go on anyone's phone. I can download MetaMask on the App Store and enter my private key, which I have memorized. It's like a 18-word phrase. And after that, you're all in. You just have total control of your currency. But yeah, it's really, I think it's the best software out there because of the integration that it has. We're going to get into some NFT marketplaces that utilize it. Now, obviously, don't forget your secret phrase. It holds the key to all your wallet, all your crypto. And it's in the same vein that, if it's not your keys, it's not your crypto. So something like Coinbase, right? They have the private keys to your wallet. They can lock you out at any time on Coinbase. But, again, with MetaMask, that's the beauty of it. You control it with your private key. You control your coins with your private key. So now we're going to get into a slight intricacy of like how to earn some passive income with your crypto. So now you bought some Bitcoin, right? You bought some Ethereum. You moved it onto your wallet. What do you want to do with it now, right? Now, well, there's a lot of things you can do with it. We're going to get into transacting NFTs. So you simply pay. Yeah, Penny Slayer is ready for that part of the presentation. And but yeah, so then comes something called staking versus, liquidity. You guys are going to hear a lot about staking. Oh, I've staked my cake token on Pancake Swap, and I've been earning syrup tokens since last year, and then this syrup token, I can stake it to compound and earn some marshmallow token. And, true story. Like these are some, that's the cool thing about crypto is something I like to call money Legos. All right. Is like you're leveraging your coin or to earn it gets better, Penny Slayer, trust me. So you're leveraging you're staking your asset in a protocol, right, in return for the privileges to validate the transactions on this protocol, right? So now we also have liquidity mining, which is when you lock your crypto assets in the protocol in exchange for the governance privileges of the protocol. So in layman's terms, right, when you are staking, you have to understand this world that we're talking about is completely decentralized. It's not controlled by a centralized bank. It's controlled by me and you with our crypto wallets, right? So if there is liquidity available for the trade to be performed, right, the trade will perform. So ultimately, let's say I have some ADA token, some Cardano, right? If I have some Cardano, I'm actually not a Nigerian prince.
That's my
5
boy
points.
Sean from We Are Investing, man. He has a great YouTube channel. Check it out for sure.
I'm not Nigerian, but I am Egyptian. But yeah, back to staking. So when you're staking, you're essentially providing liquidity for a transaction to be performed on this chain through this protocol. So we talked about SushiSwap, we talked about Uniswap. Those are protocols that swap one coin from another, right? So now Juan can come in and he can deposit his Bitcoin, right? And they're going to tell him when he deposits his Bitcoin, he's going to earn 6%, for example, APR, right? APY. So 6% on his Bitcoin asset per year. So now that's paid out in Bitcoin. It's not paid out in the, let's say, $1,000 of Bitcoin that he deposited. No, it's paid out in, if he deposited one Bitcoin, he will earn 6% on that one Bitcoin per year, right? And what's cool about staking is that there's relatively no risk, right? As long as you obviously vetted the protocol. Remember, guys, that's the hazard of the crypto market, is you want to make sure that you have your money somewhere that you can trust, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a better return than what Fidelity is going to give you on their 401k accounts. That's for damn sure.
That's exactly right. And we're going to get into something called liquidity farming. And there's people that literally, there's YouTube channels of a lot of traders that I watch. And this guy, he calls himself a humble farmer, for example. And what he does is he stakes his stable coins, right? He takes his USDC and he earns 10% on his stable coin. He doesn't have to worry about the value of $1 changing to another $1 at all. It's a 1-to-1 ratio with those coins, and he's earning passive income on stable coins. So it's better than having your $10,000 sitting in your Chase account, right? Because you're earning 10% on something that's going to hold its value, that's not going to fluctuate. Once you need that 10,000, you can come in anytime and you can remove it, right? So we come into liquidity farming, right? Now, just like staking, liquidity providing lies in the fact that you are staking two different assets, right? With their own values, right? And you're staking them together to earn an LP, right? Token, which is your receipt for placing these two tokens in. An LP is a liquidity pool token. So let's say I take my Bitcoin, I stake my Bitcoin and my Ethereum in a liquidity pool pair, right? Now you have so the incentive here is that you earn, depending on the protocol, a protocol can say, listen, we have a low liquidity for Bitcoin and Ethereum pair, right? So right now we're incentivizing people to deposit their Bitcoin and Ethereum and earn 23% APR, 100% APR, 200% APR. And it really is pretty crazy how much you can earn from this. But there is a danger, right? Here's the danger. The value of your LP token lies in how much USDC, or how much that value is equal to in USD, right? So think about it like this. Bitcoin can go up in price, for example. Ethereum can go down in price, for example. When that happens, let's say I deposited today, it's March 19th, right? I come back tomorrow, the price of Bitcoin and Ethereum has fluctuated, and Bitcoin went up, Ethereum went down. If I pull out my LP tokens and I claim my tokens, I'm going to receive a different amount of Bitcoin and a different amount of Ethereum. Why? Because let's say the USD value was $100 or $1,000 that I placed in there. They're still going to give me $1,000 back, but in two separate coins, right? So $1,000 in Bitcoin, if Bitcoin went up, the value went up, I would earn less. I would get less Bitcoin back and more Ethereum back, right? To equal out for that 1,000. So that's the danger with liquidity farming, right? And also the APY fluctuates very, very quickly as well. So that it comes into, it's really about, making sure that you understand, this 1,000% APY will not, won't be there in another 3 or 4 days, right? Because if the liquidity is really low, the people who are still providing that liquidity will have higher incentivized returns on the transaction fees that are occurring from that pair, But once the liquidity comes back in, the APY might also drop. So this is where the farming aspect comes in, right? Because there are a lot of traders out there that they will take their assets and they'll move it from one farm to another. Never marry a farm is what they say. You can get into a liquidity farm for a week, right? The APY went from 1,000% down to, let's say, 900%. And, you divide that over the 365 days. That's cool. I earned, X amount of percentage on my coins, and it really wasn't doing anything, right? I was going to hold them anyway. So I just earned some return on it just by, leveraging it onto a protocol that's going to use it, right? So, the winning strategy is clear, right? So staking offers, returns for APY when you lock it in for a prolonged period, and yield farming doesn't require you to lock your funds, though, right? So certain protocols will ask you to lock your funds when you stake them for a certain period of time, and then other platforms, it varies. So make sure you're paying attention to what you're getting into.
All right, so this is super interesting to me, right, Mufasa?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that I could come in, take my $1,000, right, put it into this protocol, and if hypothetically I bought the bottom of Bitcoin, or I invested at the time of the bottom of Bitcoin, I get two returns on this, right? I get one, the return on the rise of Bitcoin if it goes up, and then two, the 6% protocol that they're giving you on the APY, right?
Yes, that is correct, right? Because so it's a really, really good point. Thank you for that question, because it's really exciting how big that opportunity really is, right? Because you have so much power, right, for being an early adopter, because you're taking on the positive appreciative growth of this asset, right? And at the same time, you're getting the rewards for providing liquidity and helping out the decentralized community to, power the network, literally powering the network. And that comes with its own profitability from there. So that's a really, really good point. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
That makes me want to be a potential investor in the coin, right?
For sure. So our job is to vet those projects, right? Make sure that you're in the right projects. So this is the heart of DeFi, right? Like, why would you hold your money in a bank account that will only give you, 5% return? Come to DeFi, stake your coins, provide your liquidity, and compound your gains, right? Certain protocols, they'll give you a high APY because it's a new protocol and they want the network to flourish with your liquidity, right? And so it's a good way to, get in and then get out with the APY that you're earning, because that, like I said, that can fluctuate depending on the market of the liquidity, right? The market for the liquidity, I should say. So we understand that, liquidity is like the ability for the speed of transactions to occur on the blockchain. By providing this liquidity, you're locking up your funds, right, into two coins, and you're getting exposure to the gains of each coin. So it's wonderful when both of the coins go up, right? But the risk is higher than staking because you have to worry about two different price points, right?
Yeah. The concept of adding liquidity and being rewarded for that is not anything that's new, really. Like, they do it for stocks also. Like, if you place something on the bid and you're adding liquidity, your fees might be waived. And the same thing if you want to sell a stock and you sell it, and as long as you don't like mark it out and you're adding liquidity, there's less fees for that. So that's really not a new concept. That's pretty good that they reward you for adding liquidity.
Yeah, and with crypto, it's actually more important than ever, because this liquidity will only come from the community, will only come from the holders of these tokens. So that's actually a very good point. Thank you. So there's popular DeFi platforms out there. The best ones are auto compounders, right? Because what they do is they take the gains that you pulled out of APY and they add it to your liquidity position, or they add it to your staking position. So essentially your position is growing as it's growing. So that's what I mean by compounding your gains. and keep an eye out for new decentralized exchanges, right, on blockchains, as they provide, relatively on, pretty safe returns. And as that exchange grows, you can earn more in that governance token. So a good example for me would be PancakeSwap. That's a protocol that's on the Binance blockchain. I think it started a year or two ago. And when the Binance chain was really picking up, there was a high need for, transacting onto different coins onto this exchange. So PancakeSwap was rewarding people who are staking their Binance, for example, their BNB coin. It was rewarding them with Cake token, right? And then, ever since, the value of Cake token has gone from, a couple pennies or, fractions of a penny to $5, $10, $20, right? So the gains on there was really massive. I wish I was in early on it. But there's always more projects coming out. Always keep your eye out, keep your ears to the ground. Oh, Juan, you're muted for a second.
It seems like PancakeSwap is at the central of a lot of these altcoins, right? Like a lot of people that want to buy like these, like when Shiba was out early, and when a lot of these were out early, you had to go through the PancakeSwap to buy them. Is that right? Like a lot of those altcoins?
Yeah. So it depends on which coin that you want to grab, right? So for Shiba, for example, your best bet was to use Uniswap, because that's a swap that exists on the Ethereum blockchain, and Shiba lives on the Ethereum blockchain. It's a token that lives on the Ethereum blockchain. And so when it came to PancakeSwap, there's a lot of other coins that are on the BNB network. So PancakeSwap exists on the BNB network. So there's going to be a decentralized exchange for, typically each big network, right? And getting invested on a reputable, decentralized exchange with some developers that have their real faces, not some stock photos. They're real people. They have social media accounts. They look like a human, like, an actual person. So you gotta, that's part of your due diligence as well, to find the right projects. But also a quick note is Beefy Finance. It's an auto compounder, and it started off on the Binance chain, actually, and it has expanded to be across multiple chains. So, for example, let's say PancakeSwap only lives on BNB. Beefy Finance exists on many chains. The Ethereum exists on Ethereum blockchain, exists on Bitcoin, Binance as well, Polygon, a lot of really cool chains that sport. They're very popular, and you can access them without having to convert your coins to a different chain. So also there's DeFi platforms like CurveFi and YieldYak, where you can actually, what's crazy is that, remember we talked about the LP coins that you receive. You can stake those LP coins onto other protocols and get some APY for staking your LP. So that just means, like, my liquidity is provided on X platform, but I go to Y platform and I stake my receipt, and I can earn money on having a receipt for staking money. It's pretty interesting. So finally, we get to discussing NFTs, right? The non-fungible tokens, what everyone's been hearing about lately, and it's a community that's fast growing. Gary Vee is like an avid proponent on this space, and I really do. I am inclined to agree with him, right? Because the NFTs that we see are really still in their infancy phase, in my opinion. There's like such limitless potential, right? Because at its core, what is an NFT, right? It's a token, right? But it's non-fungible. It's unique. There's no other token like that one, for example, even in certain collections, right? Each piece in that collection is going to be unique, right? So it stands for a non-fungible token. It's a one-of-a-kind digital asset that belongs to you and you only, validated by the blockchain, right? And popular NFTs right now could be artwork or music. I know Snoop Dogg actually released an entire album on the blockchain. And Gala Games, I think he just I think he started it on there. I'm gonna do my research and get back to you guys on that one. But yeah, like, there's a lot of different things that you can do with an NFT, right? So okay, so I see a question from Investory.
I have a way of sort of explaining the use of NFTs that would kind of help him.
Go ahead.
So let's say that, you know, there's a company, right? Let's say my company, NAR Trades, right? So NAR Trades would make an exclusive NFT that only, let's say, 10 people can hold. And with this exclusive NFT, you get invited to all of our events. You get invited to all of our meetings. We do weekly classes. And only if you're holding this NFT are you able to attend these classes and these exclusive things that, you know, people who are normally members wouldn't be able to, right? So if you are a super member, right, or a person who's a really big fan, you would want to partake in that NFT because it pertains to the special thing you like, and it's adding value to you in your life, right? So that's why you would kind of get that NFT. It makes it exclusive in your sense, right? Where you feel your exclusivity, and that company gives you exclusive value that not everyone has access to. So let's give another example, like Six Flags. If you go to Six Flags and you buy something called a Flash Pass, right, that allows you to skip all the lines, and you're very exclusive when it comes to Six Flags, right? You have special access that not a lot of people have. It's the same thing, right? You go to do you understand it now better, investor?
Yeah, like I think that's an excellent, like those are both very excellent examples, right? And it gives power to not only the fans, but also the person, you know, the entity that's offering this NFT, right? So look at it like this, right? For a digital label, for let's say I have some music, right, and I want to get it published, right? I'll go to a publisher, right? They'll say, here's we're gonna publish your music, we're gonna put it out there, we're gonna you know, show it to the world, but we own the rights to that music, or we own 80% of the return that you get from that music. Now, let's say you dropped your album as an NFT, for example, right? People could still click and listen to that NFT. You can make it so. You can make it actually that, you know, it's exclusive. Only you can listen to that song, right? But for example, in that way, you are using the blockchain, right, to create exclusivity that is typically not present in the current systems that we have, right? So you can offer more power to your viewers. You can offer more power to them where they can transact, they can sell this NFT, right, for the prices that they choose for. And then you're also earning a royalty. So instead of you taking 20% from a record label and they keep 80%, you can keep that 80%, and the 20% is actually owned by your community, right? It's truly owned by your community, validated by the blockchain. Here's one more example, right? This is like a future application. I haven't seen it being implemented yet, right? $1 million idea. Imagine this, right? Imagine I go and I buy a house, right? I put money down for this house. They give me a deed, okay? But this deed is actually backed on the blockchain. They also send me an NFT to my of my house, right, on the blockchain. So let's say, for example, I'm careless, I lose the deed, right? If the NFT has the same weight as like the title deed to my house, it's clear that, you know, I'm the true owner of this house, right? You know, you can't, it's like for a car, for example, you know, somebody could take the title, put their signature on it and say that, you know, go to the DMV and register it, right? That's, you know, that's the current system that we have. But really what it comes down to is connecting directly with the community that you're selling the NFT to. And then also, you know, you're maximizing the returns that you get on what you're offering your community. So we'll get into, I want to take a lot more questions as well. So let me get through this slide, maybe get towards the end of the presentation, and then we can have a conversation. Juan, I think I need to, where's the link to the, so I can see, because I can only see the comments from, or the questions that investors asking, like one at a time. I wanted to see the thread of the chat.
It should be on the chat. You can't
On
see it
the
on the
right,
side?
it says private chat. Next to it, it says comments. Click the
Oh wow,
Yeah.
I'm such a boomer. Okay, I found it. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. Investor, I love your questions. I promise I'm gonna get to them, and you'll let me know if they're answered or not. But let's just keep chugging along over here. So minting an NFT, right? What does that mean? When you mint an NFT, that means you're the first owner. It's stored on your wallet, and you're the one who can view it, and you're the one who can sell it from there, right? So there's a project, for example, like the RDB Car Club that I have listed here, and Mars Colony, right? My goal here is to show you guys the power of NFTs, give you some like information that you can actually apply, and give you a starting point, so when you do your research, you know what you're looking for, and you can learn more as well from your own research. You can benefit from your research a little bit more. So for something like the RDB Car Club, I like to look for NFTs that have utility, right? If we take the biggest example, for example, right now, the Bored Ape Yacht Club, right? This is the one that made headlines for everybody's, on everybody's feeds last year, because it reached insane amounts of pricing for one of these apes, right? But essentially, right, it's literally the bare bones of what an NFT would be, right? It's actually literally just an image. I can right click and save, right? That's really what that asset is. But what does it give you? What is the utility that comes out of it? The utility is that you're essentially in an exclusive chat room with other owners of the NFT. And so the community from that really grew, and the value of these NFTs grew because a lot of celebrities started getting involved, right? Eminem, Snoop Dogg, big, artists who paid Steph Curry, who paid a lot of money for these NFTs. They have access to the Bored Ape Yacht Club Discord channel, right? This NFT is your passport to access this Discord channel. And they would throw yacht parties, and these celebrities would meet and party and network. So that's just the beginning of the utility that comes from an NFT. So for me, or for us, right, for somebody who has some hard-earned cash, and you want to make sure when you're investing in something like this that you're like, if you're really just into the art, go ahead, buy it, right? But for me, I'm looking for utility. I'm looking for passive income opportunities. The RDB Car Club, for example, their community involves a game that's coming out, and it's a play to earn game. I can use my NFT, which is a car, right? It's actually really cool. It's like a 3D model that you can view on OpenSea on the marketplace. You can zoom in, you can go inside the car, and it has a lot of detail to it. So yeah, it's a really cool NFT, right? It's more than just a flat image. It's a 3-dimensional model of a car, but also you can use this car in the game. You can earn RDB coin from racing. You can pink slip your NFT for other cars. You can interact with other people in a metaverse, right? So also Mars Colony, for example, this is an NFT that I'm staking. It's an NFT that gets staked every day. It earns me 1 colony token per day, right? After I earn 30 colony token, I upgraded the NFT to earn me 2 colony token, right? By paying that 30 colony token. And then from there, it went from 2 per day to 4 per day to 6 per day to 8 per day per NFT, right? So I managed to get in pretty early on this. I was able to buy 2 of these NFTs for around $500, but I could sell each NFT right now for $1,200, or depending on the market. But I'm holding, right, because there's more coming to this project. There's going to be quests and other NFTs that you can mint, and generation 1 NFTs and things like that. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's a lot of things going on here in this space, and really, you just have to take the time to do the research and learn about what these projects have to offer. So my image kind of like moved up and blocked what I had here. But yeah, so OpenSea is the most popular marketplace, and it exists on the Ethereum blockchain. They've recently integrated Polygon as a as a token or a coin that you can transact with. NFT Key is another marketplace that I used. I used it to buy my Mars Colony NFT. There's also the Solana Solc, right? It's on the Solana blockchain, right? So the goal is to find a reputable marketplace where that has a lot of volume traded, and what you're really looking for is like, what coin do I have, and does this marketplace allow me to use this coin on that marketplace? So this is just a quick slide just to show some marketplaces. So now we'll get a little bit more into the staking and how you can use your NFT, right, for some utility here. So you can stake an NFT, right? And the platform is going to determine its rarity after you minted it. So like we said, when you mint the NFT, you're the first owner. You're getting a unique piece from this collection. Let's say there's 1,000 total NFTs to be minted. From that, there's a certain percentage that's like a pretty rare NFT that, you know, gives your NFT a little bit more intrinsic value. But from there, remember guys, depending on the project, right? That's where the economy will come from this NFT. So we talked about the Bored Ape, which is sort of on the lower end of like the economy for an NFT. It started off with just the utility of giving you a chat room, but then there's also NFTs that give you access to an exclusive metaverse or different games or staking, for example. So now here we get into a good way to vet our NFTs, right? Is the Twitter or the community around them. You got to really do your homework and just follow all their social media pages. Make sure you're on the right pages. Make sure it's the verified page. Cross-check across, you know, Twitter and Instagram and things like that. You want to get into an NFT project that will sell out on the mint date. So basically, from there, the value will be determined entirely by the community, right? And a floor price will be established from the the lowest cost of an NFT from that collection. So you gotta imagine an NFT as digital ownership, right, to an exclusive asset, and you're the one who gets to decide how much you want to sell it for. So the value of an NFT is oftentimes dependent on, you know, supply and demand, just like any asset, right? So you're looking for something that has high demand and low supply, right? Just like when you're looking for, you know, a lot of other different types of assets. There's a parallel we can draw to stocks as well, right? But you know, staying on topic here, the community is going to decide how much they want to sell their NFTs for, and thus the floor price for the collection is established, right, with the lowest price of an NFT. And now NFTs with utility are often valued, you know, highly if the project is well respected and popular. That goes without saying as well. But I hope you guys see what I'm saying here.
Yeah, I think I do. So hypothetically, right? My man Malik over here, or Malik, sorry, my boy Malik starts a board Lamborghini club, right? And he attaches this NFT to the board Lamborghini club, and essentially what this token will do is sort of like your fun coupon to enter into this club and go to their meets, go to their events and stuff like this, right?
Yeah. So that depends. You can when you create the community, you're the one who's going to determine where the utility comes from,
right?
So it all depends on
the value that you bring,
right?
Yeah.
And so then my question lies, right, is if I was Malik and I'm head of the board Lamborghini club and I'm sitting against my Lamborghini and I'm waiting for everybody to arrive, how do I validate that the people that show up actually have their fun coupon?
So the blockchain is a public ledger, right?
Right.
We know what a ledger is, and it's public. You can access it from anywhere. So what I'm seeing on my screen is that you have this JPEG, you have this image, right? But then, you know, or what I'm seeing from your screen is that you have this JPEG, you have this NFT, you're showing it to me. Okay, cool. We're at the door. You want to come into my community, right? But then I can go check on the blockchain. Is this real? Is this the one that you have? Is it number 3? Is it number 4? Is it number 5? right? And is it owned by this wallet address, right? So now show me your wallet address, right?
Okay.
You have access to that wallet, your crypto, your keys, right? No one else really has access to that wallet. And I can validate according to the wallet address that this is truly your NFT.
Okay, I got you.
So, yeah. So
Malik, I'm dubbing that board Lamborghini Club though. You can't use it. Copyright.
Hey, I actually already have a company where I'm making NFTs for each car for our exotic car company. Mufasa is helping me with that.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what's
Sorry,
up.
but
Love
Oh,
that.
he went ahead and teased it. I wasn't allowed to say anything, but yeah.
And can you guys make one for an Acura RDX, please? It's like a family station wagon. I would love to meet up with other family station
I'll
wagon
definitely
owners.
make you one. Exclusive. It's gonna be the most exclusive one. I got you.
Yo, the RDX is a wonderful car, man. But yeah, that's NFTs. So looks like my images are kind of covering my words though. But so we get into the Mars colony. I can show you guys a small demonstration. This is a project I got into early January. It's pretty new. What was great about it is that, like I mentioned earlier, this NFT was earning me colony token per day, right? This colony token is just like a Bitcoin, just like an Ethereum. It has a USD value. I can take it and I can sell it for USD coin and I can buy more of it. And it's really the coin or the governance token, right, that will be powering the project, right? It exists on the Harmony mainnet blockchain. And essentially, it was an NFT collection of 21,000 pieces. Each piece, though, was interesting, was a piece of land on Mars, right? So they had like a big globe and they cut it into 21,000 pieces. And then each NFT piece was a piece of land. And each piece of land would own you some colony token. So they added more utility to it where it's like they're coming out with their own decentralized exchange. That's one. So it's going to increase the treasury fund of the of the token, right? And then of the project. They're releasing NFT avatars that are coming out that you can buy with 30 colony token. So I've been stacking my colony token and I'm waiting to buy some NFT avatar. What can I do with that NFT that they're selling me? Well, I can send that avatar on missions. Send him on a mission. He goes, finds me some more colony, or he goes and finds me some more whatever token that they're coming out with. So I love this project. Why? Because it's sort of paid for itself over and over and over again, right? It's the benefit of owning an NFT, but also I'm making money just holding it, right? It's earning me colony token. So what's crazy is after launch, right? They were selling each NFT for 251 token. At the time, the price of a one token was like, I think 18 cents, right? So I paid $75 for a piece of land, right? Or this NFT. I bought two of them. I didn't want to go too heavy, because it was all there was no proof of concept yet. It was just they're discussing, saying that this is coming, and so far they have been delivering on a lot of their promises. And they opened their liquidity pool staking. I was just staking the colony token that I was earning for free and making more money for free. So I like this one because I didn't have to put in any more money into it. It was just kind of growing as it goes. And there's a lot of other projects like DeFi Kingdoms, if you guys heard about it. But the reason why I'm mentioning it is because when I got into it, the price of colony token started at $5, right? So $5 a day, that's not bad, right? Guaranteed $5 a day if the price stays the same. But the price of the coin skyrocketed. It hit like $35 a coin. And I was earning, 2 of that per day. So the price of the coin went up and then it kind of came down to 70 cents. And then it's stabilizing here now at like $4. But what I did up there at the top is I took my profits on those coins, right? So let's say I sold 2 colony token for $35. I earned $70. On the way back down, when each colony token became $1, right? I just bought 70 colony, upgraded my base. Now I'm earning more colony. The price of colony goes back up and I'm still up on the project. So do your due diligence and stay on top of these projects. Don't just leave your money here saying I'm a holder. There was some work on my part to move the funds around. So I think this is my final slide. We get into the metaverse, right? So the metaverse is sort of tough to explain, right? Why? Because it's a pretty vague and complex term at best right now. But it boils down to, a shift in how we really interact with technology and online communities and virtual worlds, right? So they are typically, it's a persistent space, right? The space is still going to be active and moving on when you log off. And typically you can access it, through VR or AR. So different projects have different visions for the metaverse. There's ones that capitalize on virtual real estate like Mars Colony. There's chat rooms like Bored Ape, right? And there's like massively multiplayer, online NFT based games. A project called Big Time coming out as well that I'm looking into, and it's like a RPG game. You get to play the game, and then you go mining and you're playing the game with your friends, and you earn, like, let's say you earn some NFTs from playing this game that you can later on go and sell in the marketplace. There's a lot of like different ideas of there's a lot of different examples. Like Axie Infinity is another NFT based game that kind of went crazy. People have been making a living playing these games and just selling NFTs, and using it gives you real world money, right? You take this coin and you sell it for USD, or you sell it for whatever your currency is, and you go buy some food, go buy a car, go buy a house. There's a lot of utility, and as you can see, I really enjoy NFT projects that have a lot of utility. So yeah, I mean, you have the digital economy that we discussed as well by the owners of the NFT, and it's a vision of the metaverse that this is a very idea. Like the metaverse is only still, like I'm saying, I believe it's still in its infancy. There's a lot more to come. Like what happens when different projects become more interoperable, right? There's already blockchains that are dedicated to interoperability. For example, like the Cosmos blockchain, Atom, right? It powers a lot of different coins that we know. For example, like Binance and others that their tokens are based on a certain blockchain, and there's already bridges that go between different blockchains. So just because I'm holding Bitcoin and you're holding Ethereum doesn't mean we can't do a transaction. We can still convert these coins into other useful applications. So there's a lot of, the applications are limitless, right? There's a lot of things that are coming, and it's good to stay up to date with different kinds of projects. I'm going to be building up my social media, and I'm going to be talking more about different projects that I'm interested in and I'm watching. But bear with me, I'm still a student in school. I'm trying to build up my career and stuff, and at the same time I want to take you guys with me on this crypto metaverse journey. So I think that's all I got for today. So yeah, I'm willing to take any questions. I'm going to start looking through the chat now.
Yeah, so let me kind of recap. So if we have an NFT project, the part I understand as far as utility, and I think Investory was trying to kind of understand what is the actual asset? Is it something valuable? I mean, I understand the concept of you buy art from your favorite artist, and you hope that it increases in value in the future. So I kind of understand that, where it's the same concept with NFTs. You can create a digital art, and now your digital art is secured on the blockchain, meaning not anyone can just right click it and sell it, but it's going to be on that blockchain, that ledger. And this would have benefited an artist like Basquiat, for example, who died young and pretty poor. I mean, wasn't able to reap the benefit of his art. But if he created something and placed it on the blockchain, where maybe him and his family get 5%, 10%, 1% of every transaction every time it sells, I understand that utility. The other utility that you mentioned is kind of like the exclusivity concept of it, but that's just something, to me, it's hard to understand and accept where you can create something and make it exclusive and start a club, but is that really utility? It feels like when they create these projects, that the only way to make money is to buy the NFT and then sell it to the next person for a little bit higher, which is kind of like eventually that stops, and that's why almost all these altcoins, a lot of these altcoins and NFTs, they spike. If you look at their charts, they spike up, spike up, spike up, and then they drop until some other catalyst. Is that the case for most of the NFTs?
So, as much as I'd like to think I'm a lexicon of different NFTs and different projects, I can't account for most, but I can agree. I'm inclined to agree with you, right? Because we got to start with where are you determining your utility? What is useful to you, right? For me, money is useful to me, right? So there's a profit to be made, right? So you've already highlighted that there's money that you can make, right? Where it's like you're an early adopter and you're rewarded for that because you are, offloading this asset at a high demand, right? So ultimately the utility could stop there. But the utilities, what's wonderful about this space, right, is the utility is defined by the developers and ultimately the community that applies the utilities that the developers set out, right? So if you have an active community, right, if you have a dedicated group of fans, right, you can use that to your advantage. So ultimately there's two sides to it, right? It's very useful for the developers to make a project, right, promise a lot of things, get a lot of hype, get a bunch of celebrities to back it, and then they turn around and rug pull everybody, right? Isn't that pretty useful for a developer? Yeah, it's pretty useful for a developer. And our job is to protect ourselves, right? To do our due diligence and make sure that we're vetting these projects. We're not throwing money around at, something that, trust me, bro, that's my due diligence. That's going to go like, that's not, you can still make money off of that ultimately, right? As the layman, as the person coming into the space, you can still profit from there. You take your profits and you can put it somewhere else ultimately, and it can make you more profits. That's the heart of finance, right? That's the heart of, the entire economy of this, right? But Juan's, I think what you're asking for is persistent utility, right? Something that it's like something that's gonna add, like the value at one point was very high, but like the value is still growing and it's adding value, right? Because it's a valuable project, ultimately speaking, right? So it still circles back. I think it still comes back to looking at the project that you can always believe a project will go to the moon, and that's where we all want to go, right? But like sometimes the moon is not a quantifiable location. You know what I mean? When are you going to take your profits, right?
Yeah.
When are you going to determine where you want to go?
I get that. I think like I said, like I divided into two sections. The first part, I'm 100% on board with it, right? Where if you create a digital art, you should be able to sell it, and someone should be able to buy the original, kind of like with your own deed of it, because you're a fan of that artist, right? Or a new and upcoming artist. I mean, this is known in the art world, right? You try to find these new and upcoming artists, you buy their art, you hold it, hoping that it sells higher one day. I totally get that part of it, the digital art aspect of it. The hard part is the whole community and all that, because really it becomes, and I understand, like if you just want to jump in something early, ride the hype and sell it, that's one aspect of it. I'm talking about like from a moral aspect of it. It really it doesn't sit well with me that a lot of these, that I've seen the majority of them, the only way you make money is because you're selling it to the next person. And there is the concept of supply and demand, but supply and demand is not always a noble thing, right? Supply and demand because of false hype or a pyramid scheme doesn't mean that it's something that if you're ethically trying to make money and sleep well at night, that you should be comfortable with. So I've seen a lot of these NFT projects, like they build hype, they build a community, and really I'm selling it to Joe for $5. and Joe sells it to Adam for $8, and Adam sells it to Mike for $10, and there's the hype, and then there's no more hype, and it all goes away. And that's kind of like what I'm seeing right now, the majority of it. Like I said, I'm part A of it, digital art, making money for your digital art, or like, let's say my first contract or whatever, and I take a picture and I want to, sell that picture as an original, and someone can buy that original picture. I'm with all that utility part of it. It's the other one that it's hard for me to really understand.
Yeah. So, I mean, I agree with you. There's definitely, like Raphael is saying, actually, there's whales will control the price action. Everyone puts in their exact opportunity. There's the next person. Like there is the hype wave that you can ride. There is all of that. Yes, we agree. And I'm going to come out and say it, right? Like I agree with you. There are a lot of different projects out there that at their heart, right, are pretty exploitative, right?
Yeah.
Like it just depends on if you find a Joe Schmo who's willing to pay for what you listed it for, right? But I feel like that's just, it just comes down to like, that's sort of like the nature of the way like human beings interact financially, right? Like, so there's a part of that, right? But okay, so here's the real thing that I'm looking for, right? This is why I'm highlighting utility that goes beyond arbitraging prices from one person to another, right? There is utility for different projects out there. We can take different NFTs projects that offer a video game to it. I'm a gamer. I play a lot of games, right? I enjoy playing video games. For me, that's useful, right? That's a useful use of my time just because, I'm having fun, right? But at the same time, if I'm going to have fun already and I'm going to play some video games, if I have the opportunity to make some money playing all these video games, like imagine I can go back to my Xbox gamer tag or whatever, or like my PlayStation, and look at all these achievements that I have had that I've earned in these games, right? And I can like literally make money. I can capitalize by selling these achievements, right?
Yeah.
Like there's already gaming communities that have different microtransactions, and it's like, as a true gamer, I hate microtransactions, right? Like let's say let's talk about the new Halo or something, for example. Like the game came out, and then there's different kinds of skins and colors that you can make your Spartan look like, and then 343 Industries is making money because somebody's paying real $10 to put a color on their Spartan, right? So it's like, at the end of the day, why isn't there a community for me, the gamer, who like spent 30 hours or 20 hours earning this skin, and I sell it to somebody who just wants to have the skin, right, to use for themselves, right? That's where it comes down to. There's utility that is defined by the developers. You can create a community where you're building a game or you're building a metaverse, right? Where it's like, oh, we come into this chat room, we put on our VR goggles, we're talking, and the NFT that I bought, that's like a watch, I can wear it in this NFT in the metaverse space, right? And then Juan can meet me there, and he can come by and he can say, hey, wow, that's a cool painting, or that's a cool wallet, or a cool watch or something. And it's cool. Why? It's like the same way I walk past somebody and I have some cool Nikes on, right? And it's like, it's the same way. Brand power comes with its own value as well, right? So at the end of the day, like, human beings attribute value to things that we agree have value. Like if we agree, like, this is a terrible example. We can't all just sit here and say, you know what, the US dollar has no value. I don't think a US dollar is worth $1. And like, if everybody says that we don't believe that it doesn't have value, is that really gonna stick? You know what I mean? But ultimately we agree, like the financial system agrees, right? The decentralized finance system agrees, like a Bitcoin is one Bitcoin, or a dollar is $1, and Ethereum is one Ethereum, right? And ultimately, if somebody else finds value in that Bitcoin and I give it to them for something else that I find value, that's what I can, investor, we can try, right? But ultimately speaking, we're not here to fight the system, right? There are systems that are coming out in this metaverse space and, in the crypto space, and that, you can believe it's the future. It just, the future will tell you if it really is the future, right? So there's that's my 2 cents on it. I mean,
yeah, I can see that with NFT. I like I can accept that more than a lot of like I guess the altcoins and that are coming out with their own little communities, because it usually all that stuff stays within like Shiba Inu. I bought it early on, but then once I read the white papers and everything that they're going, I just felt like it was just like an elaborate pyramid scheme. But like what you're saying with the NFTs, for example, yeah, there is that where you have an original shirt and it's an original color, and you know, it can be worth a lot if a lot of people want it, right? A lot of people want that shirt. So it's the same thing with NFT projects. How simple is it? Because there's a lot of people that advertise, you know, making money on NFT. How simple is it to kind of create your own digital art and try to sell it?
oh yeah, it's very, very straightforward. So OpenSea has its own tool that you can say upload, and it's an NFT. You just select how many that you're going to have, and that's that, right? Now, and then there's the complexity of just like I can create a base like ape, and it'll have like different earrings and sunglasses and whatnot, and then mint from there, right? You can actually all do that all natively on OpenSea. But it's up to you as the developer where you can build an economy around it, right? So for example, it's about like you can create the supply and you can create the demand based on the hype that you're adding to it and based on the utility that you're adding to it, right? So the possibilities are, you know, you have, if you have an interesting idea, right, and you have something that, you know, has some good utility behind it, if you can build like a, what's the word for it, if you can build a it's up to you to build the economy behind your project, right? Are you going to create a governance token that helps people to earn other token, right? That people will, is, you have to create an incentive for people to utilize your token, right? And when that incentive is high, when the potential for profit is high, it can become successful.
Okay, so it can't just be like I create a nice piece of digital art and someone just likes how my digital art looks and they buy it kind of as like
But
an
it
art
could.
piece.
No,
could.
but it could be that way as well. That's you know, to what degree you can attribute that to luck or to, you know, popularity, right? You can still tap into all these different kinds of tools that you have, right? You can still use hype, you can still use popularity, but you can also create something useful. You can still create something valuable that's not just based on hype. If you have that, that's probably the reason why a lot of NFT projects just deteriorate very quickly and the developers make their money and run, right? Because there's nothing more here. We're just trying to make money off of the average, you know, Joe or Mike or whatever, who's just gonna buy and sell one after the other, and I can collect my your goal is to create persistent utility, right? If you're the creator here, right? So you can create, that's the heart of DeFi, right? And like we talked about the money Legos, where you can take a certain currency, you can lock it up in a protocol, and then the protocol is providing liquidity to the people trading your coin. So the more people are trading your coin, the more fees you're earning that way, the more utility you're creating to the early adopter who's like actually adding value to the financial system that you're playing with, right? There's a lot of different aspects to it, and the goal is to navigate, you know, obviously you want to navigate any investment with caution. So in this space it seems daunting, right? Because there's a lot of things that can go in your favor, but there's also a lot of things that can really go wrong really quickly, right? So I guess that's just the nature of growth, and only time will tell, right? Like there's a lot of things that still need to come to fruition, like different like I know Ethereum is making an upgrade that's supposed to decrease the gas fees, right? And
The gas fees, like the transactions, not like real gas, because gas is expensive.
exactly, Ethereum gas is also pretty expensive, right? Unless you're an Ethereum god, you just
Is
have a bunch of
is this a popular site? I've seen this before, like being pumped, Vivi, I guess, where
yeah.
people try to buy stuff early and
See, this is a cool example, right? Because this is actually licensed Disney and Marvel assets, right? And they're only exclusive onto this platform. Their coin, the VV coin, is like a 1-to-1. And you can truly own like the official licensed Marvel or Disney, Spider-Man comic or Batman comic, DC comic. So like this is a good example, actually. Yeah. I haven't. I've delved a little bit here, and there is definitely a ton of profitability ability to be made. But the utility for this one, like we said, like if we want to grade the utilities, right? The utility for this one is arbitrage, right? Like you're just gonna buy and sell here, right?
Yeah, but you're buying something that's like popular, right? Like everybody loves Marvel.
Yeah.
So if the next Spider-Man thing comes out, you can buy the NFT for it. The only issue with this thing I've seen, like they release these new NFTs every week or whatever, and it's almost impossible to buy something that's new.
Yeah, because they
it's
sell
like,
out instantly.
yeah, they sell out like within seconds, and you have to buy it from the person. They buy it at 100, and you have to buy it for 300, and you have to hope that it goes up.
I relate this project to like Funko Pops, right? You guys know what Funko Pops are. They're like physical collectibles, and they're made by the company and stuff. And there's a big like eBay marketplace for those things. But this is cool because it's, the same marketplace is releasing the digitally licensed. So yeah, that's a Funko Pop, for example. I have a friend, he has like an entire garage full of these things. I've never really understood the Funko Pops. I think they look cute and they look really cool and everything. Like I want to kind of put one as a bobblehead in my car or something, but yeah, it's a collectible, but like the VV is a digital collectible. Really, it just stops there, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
for example, we can probably show the white paper for Mars Colony. I'm not like a speaker for Mars Colony or anything, but I think the white paper gives a good example of like an economy that's like that builds utility, and it's pretty rock solid, like the tokenomics of it. That's the word I was looking for. It's the tokenomics that you build around your collectibles. You can go to marscolony.com, I think.
Let's see here.
I should post in their Discord. I'm talking about them. But yeah, go right to the white paper. So here it is. This is the white paper, right? For centuries, land ownership, blah, 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 blah. Okay, we don't care about the history. We don't care about modern time. We care about tokenomics.
So this is what you're looking for, like when you do due diligence and stuff?
Yes. Well, I mean, I read through everything, but the tokenomics is pretty rock solid, and I'll show you guys why.
So this will be equivalent to float in stocks, right?
Exactly, right? You got your 21,000 pieces. The currency is on the Harmony blockchain, right? Initially, they were selling it for 500 one token. The launch discount, right, was 50%, so 21 days. But this project literally sold out in the first day. I don't even think the devs expected it, but they still accounted for a high demand here. So scroll down. I like the little diagram that they show, right? So you can even zoom in if you want, but you have the first epoch, right, which is claiming the land. So anyone can come pay some one token, they can claim some land, right? After all the land is claimed, there will be colony token that will be minted. This colony token is coming into existence only because people own the land, right? So basically the land is automatically staked, right? You can build land improvements, and you receive, as the landlord, you receive your colony token, right? And it shows you the breakdown as well. 49% of all the colony token that's minted is distributed to the landowners as a universal basic income, right? Then 30% goes to the community treasury, right? And the colony holders, the liquidity providers, and the landlords are the ones that govern. This is a investment that I'm in long term. It's kind of tough to get in right now because the entrance fee would be to buy the NFT from a marketplace. The mint is already sold out.
when they originally came out, they had 21,000 pieces, each one selling for $500.
501 token. Back then it was 12 cents. It's like $75.
Oh, okay. 501 tokens. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. One token is a token itself.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
Because I was about to say $500 for each one, then that's like 10.5 million, and they could just walked away and closed the project, right? I mean,
They could have actually, and that was always the risk. Like I got in, and I, that was definitely a risk. But looking at this tokenomics here, right? I was like, okay, this has a lot of potential. When you take any kind of investment, you're always investing money that you can afford to lose. That's number one, right? That's that's Juan 101 right there. He taught you guys that. So, it's a very solid investment strategy. Why? Because if the project goes to zero, you're not on the street. So ultimately it's fun to play with something like this. And I was looking at it saying, well, I mean, this actually, if it really does pan out, this could really work out, right? But what I really loved was that the community actually controls all of the colony supply. The devs don't have a secret wallet somewhere where they're holding like 10 million colony token and that they can just dump at any time. And it's like a very transparent breakdown, as you can see. So there's the landlords are getting 50%. There's the community treasury that in their Discord, they have like voting. If you validate your wallet in the Discord, and then you actually have access to vote. So if you're holding colony token, you can decide what's going to happen for next, right? They have some options that they give out. They're saying, well, we're going to try and create the new avatars. It's actually such a cool project that Harmony, the blockchain gave them I think $250,000 grant, not a loan, just to see this project grow. And so look at the economics here, right? So you have a land plot NFT, you'll earn 365 colony per year. The way I was looking at it is like, worst case scenario, this project will pay me, right? So how much will it pay me? Let's see, right? Like the value of a colony token right now is $3.76, right? At one point it was like $30. At another point it was like $12, right? So I was like, wow, imagine I'm earning $10 a day, right? Times 365 days in a year. I'm earning $3,650, right? That's pretty good. I can still use these coins. I could sell them and I could still have the NFT and it'll make me more. But then you can use the same token you're earning and you can upgrade it and earn even more colony. So as you can see, you do their base station upgrade, transport upgrades, robot assembly, this, and that, right? And you're actually upgrading your land now. And when you upgrade your land, there's more utility that's coming, right? Like they don't call it transport for no reason. This is what I've learned, right? They don't call it a base station for no reason. There's things you can do.
So when you're here at the base station, if you want to move up to here, you have to pay them 120?
Yeah, you pay 120 colony token and it upgrades your land.
Who gets the 120? Is that divided in the community or is that
it's actually burned?
Oh, it's burned. Okay.
It's burned. So that coin is destroyed and it allows the circulating supply to remain in check, because imagine the circulating supply increasing, the value of the coin will decrease very rapidly. Then also it shows you the circulation flow of the token. It answers your question. Scroll down.
Oh, okay.
So you can play and spend in this game universe and you earn and stake rewards, right?
Got it.
So I encourage people always to look through the white papers of the
I think like getting like investors to do it is hard for them, because the white papers, what's the overseeing body, right? Like if for example, if we want to do due diligence on a company, we go through their 10Q, 10K, and we look at their financials, and that's regulated by the SEC. It's regulated by government, so they can't, even foreign government, right? Like that's why they had the big issue with those 5 Chinese companies, because they weren't complying. They have to be transparent with their financials.
Yeah.
So who's like the overseeing government that I can't just put together something on a white paper and make it sound all pretty and sell you cake pops, that are going to turn into brownies and brownies that are going to turn into magical cookies that if you eat them, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like who's regulating this stuff right now?
No one is regulating any of this, right? This is it's the heart of the word decentralized, right? There's no central entity that controls whether or not something is valid or whether or not something is canceled, right? It's up to you, the investor. That's why I always stress the due diligence here, because it's entirely because no one's forcing you to invest anything, right? You're the one taking it upon yourself to invest. And, you know, ultimately it's up to you to do that research.
But your research is limited by it's like telling you to, you know, it's like you want to research me and the only source of your research is what I give you about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
no,
like that's like
true.
that's that's not really research. It's just like you at one point you have to have faith that these people are being honest, and that's it. It's like there's no way that that Google can do that, right? If I tell you to research Google, everything is transparent. Their financials is how much they spent. If we find it, you know, if we want to research a publicly traded restaurant, we know how much that restaurant paid for their food, you know, and how much they sold it for. We can look at their net profit, their gross profit. So, you know, that's the only thing that I'm seeing here that is like a big red flag. I get the art part, and I love being able to have a ledger and, you know, that's transparent and sell the art. And this other part of it, it's really hard for me to grasp yet, unless there's some sort of regulating body that can verify. And, you know, no doubt you can make money. I'm not saying you can't make money, but ethically, how are you making money? You're making money by buying and selling it to the next guy until that stops. You know, that's just how I see it right now.
I agree with you. And, you know, I take no offense. Like, it's, you know, it's how like this is an important point. No, it is very, very, very important to make sure that people understand that, right? And I'm glad that you're bringing this up, right? Because for me, I come home from school or come home from work, I sit at my desk, and in my leisure, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
So ultimately speaking, the responsibility is with me. The responsibility falls on me. Where am I spending my money? Right. And I was showing, I didn't get to demo the coin market cap. You can go to coinmarketcap.com, right? This is the thing about the blockchain that sort of alleviates these red flags, right? Because then again, we're saying, okay, I can look at, you know, the SEC is going to go ahead and it's going to do the due diligence for me, and it's going to report, right? So I trust the SEC to make sure that they're auditing these people and how their restaurants are transacting this, and that, right? This is my tool as the investor to go and check on a project and to see what the circulating supply is, right? When it comes to crypto, when it comes to the blockchain, it's all public. It's all there, right? You can come in here and you can check and you can see the numbers. You can look at the numbers. You can do the math and you can see, does it add up, right? Is it moving the way that it should, right? And yeah, just like you can click on this tab, you can come into the NFT. So we can go to Decentraland. It's a very popular metaverse right now. This is where your due diligence lies, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, I get that, but it's very superficial due diligence, right?
Yeah, behind the scenes, anything can happen,
and
right?
So this is the first one we picked, right? This pattern right here. I guarantee you'll probably see this 80-something% of the time, and like you know, I appreciate, you know, like this is just like my thoughts on it, you know, and I don't like to ever have like any type of echo chamber, you know. If we disagree, we disagree. But this is like, this pattern here is what I see, right? This is all emotion, right? So this comes out, Decentraland mana right here. They start building their hype. You know, they get a little bit of hype. I'm selling it to this person. I got a lot of hype. Maybe if I can pay someone that's on YouTube and, you know, that can pump my thing, because I know YouTubers get money to pump small cap stocks. So I'm sure they can do it for this. So this gets a little bit of pump, and then here everybody starts selling, and that's it. And then I guarantee you this right here, if we look at this in 2 years, it's going to be right back here. And I think that's what you're seeing right now, and that's the problem. I think that's what you're seeing right now with the majority of the altcoins. Maybe not the major ones like Bitcoin, obviously, and all that, but like a lot of the created altcoins and a lot of these NFTs. You're going to see this. You're going to see the emotional spike, sell off, and then you're going to see it eventually go back down to here, and it's going to be here for a long time unless there's some fake hype, kind of like I mean, what about Shiba? I mean, Shiba was all over the news. It was supposed to be the next big thing, but really, it wasn't doing anything that was so special. I mean, it was just gaining hype. People thought it was going to be the next Dogecoin, and look, I mean, it's had its spikes, and now it's same pattern. Like if we look at Mana, same exact thing. You see an initial spike, came back, some more hype, and it's coming back down, and eventually this will go back down here. Yeah. So right now, the problem in my opinion, with NFTs and altcoins, yes, you can exploit this. You can make money and be early here and sell up here. But is that ethically okay? You have to live with yourself on that. Me personally, even if I can make 100,000 in this move, I'd rather not, because I'm not really contributing to society. I'm just selling to the hype, and I'm selling it to the next person. And I think this is like a little bit different than day trading. At least day trading, there's you're usually buying it at an area of support where there's interest. This is like I don't know. It's a little. This is kind of like the pattern I see, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean,
Juan, I kind of think that this is the new generation of sports card trading that has a little bit more behind it.
Okay.
Essentially, man, because it's a collectible, right? I mean, any situation you get into, it's a token, which is a collectible, and it's only correlated to the sport or community that you want to be a part of. So, if it's something that you want to get into on your spare time, you've got to love what you do, right?
Yeah.
So for me, like Mufasa, I agree with you. So I also play a little bit of video games, right? I play Apex Legends. And so if my deal is I go in here and I'm just, having a good time, and something comes out where there's like a community-based NFT token fungible thing that I can go get into and be a part of something that relates to something I enjoy spending my time with, okay, then so what? So I go and I buy this, but then I also can potentially make money on the side and be this sort of like revolving thing around something that I enjoy doing. Then that becomes different, right? That becomes a whole different scheme, if you will. And so, I mean, I get it. Like these spikes and stuff, it looks terrible to a day trader. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it looks great to a day trader, but awful for a long-term investment. But if you like what you do, then so what? Like I have baseball cards signed by Mickey Mantle and Babe Ruth, but if no one wants to buy them or no one wants to be a part of that community, then my baseball cards are worth shit. Right.
Yeah, I see that. And so I have a counter to what to Juan, what you mean about so for example, Sheeb, for example. I've traded Sheeb in my day a lot. Just day trading it here and there, making a couple bucks. Sheeb does say they do have a tokenomics behind it though, by the way. There is like they have a DEX, right? So it's kind of like your pancake swap, right? They have a DEX. You can earn money by staking your Sheeb, and from there, you earn Bone token. You can stake your Bone token.
Right.
Bone token has a smaller supply, and so forth, right? But the thing about Sheeb is that it really is capitalizing on hype. I agree with that, right? It capitalizes on hype the same way Dogecoin did, but Dogecoin had none of that tokenomics. Dogecoin was just Dogecoin. It could just do 1,000 transactions a second, and it wasn't built on a very scalable blockchain. So it's just hopes of people reaching it $1. Ultimately, it's like I can make this much money and it will reach $1. For Sheep, for example, right? It would need to be like 3 or 4 times the market cap of Bitcoin for Sheep to reach $1. So, like mathematically speaking, very, very improbable. Right. Oh,
or
then they're like,
or even a penny. I mean, like when you
yeah,
do the math, even to get to the penny, you would have to have like the market cap of Apple, Google, and a couple other big companies
yeah.
just to even get close to that.
Okay, but I mean, my counter question to you would be, let's look at Bitcoin's chart, right?
Okay.
What sets SHIB aside from Bitcoin? What makes Bitcoin a better buy than SHIB, right? Is Bitcoin going to eventually die down because of the hype, or because of, like, is Bitcoin eventually going to go back down to being $100? Because if it does, I'm buying.
Yeah.
But but that's really the question here, right? Like, we see that, like, this financial system, just like any financial system we have, right, depends on, do me and you agree that it has value, right? Because if I agree that it has value and you say it doesn't, then sell me your Bitcoin, right? I'll buy it. I think it's valuable, right? It's the same. I think it's the same parallel when it comes to SHIB, when it comes to different projects, right? For me, I determine my value, like I said before, from utility, right? Because ultimately speaking, if Colony token goes to zero, right, I'm playing with house money at this point. So the way I treat my investments, the way I treat my NFT investments is, I need to make sure that I'm break even, right, as soon as possible, right? Because then from there, it's all just for fun, right?
Got
For
it.
something like Bitcoin, right, it's completely deflationary, right? And SHIB has like a similar burn mechanism implemented, right? But at the same time, it's at a price point, right, which makes it attractive to buyers, because I can have 1,000,000 SHIB for X amount of dollars, right? So they're definitely smart in that sense. That's what they're going for, right? They're going for trying to make a price point that's so attractive to young buyers. It builds more hype. You tell your friends this and that. I mean, thankfully, like, I've traded SHIB, I've made like a very good return on it, right? I'm not holding any more SHIB right now, but I can treat it like it's a support and resistance, like I'm treating an asset. If it breaks a certain point, I can get back in for a quick day trade or a scalp,
Got
right?
it.
At the end of the day. So I could tell you that I'm going to be in something for long term, but does that mean I'm still holding it when it's going down? Not necessarily, right? There's specific entries and exits that you take on any asset, right? And that's what makes it useful for you, is because you're making your money that way. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I guess I'm the the devil's advocate, or the chaotic neutral, right? Where it's like, I really do hear what you're saying about the whole moral aspect of it. I think that's huge. Like, and I think that's like really valuable to think about, right? Because like we talked about NFTs and like the exploitative nature of arbitrage in general, right? Like, financial systems don't care about your morality, unfortunately, right? But at
Right.
the
Right.
same time, it's something I care about. I do care about the morality of it, right? But what am I doing with this? What am I doing with my assets? How am I leveraging them? How am I making my money, right? And ultimately, for me, it's a huge part of, especially my faith and where I come from and my culture, and in general, we try to always make sure that you're when you're capitalizing or when you're making money, the nature of trade, it's permissible,
Right.
but it definitely has to be from a permissible place as well. So, like Penny Slayer did say, like, this is truly, like, it's a new age of like collectible trading, right? And
So,
like,
so you guys kind of look at it the same way when we were younger, buying cards and stuff like that, baseball cards and stuff. It's
yeah, like Yu-Gi-Oh
kind of look
cards.
at it that way.
Yeah, like, yeah, honestly, I mean, when I was in high school, I was like buying sneakers and selling sneakers, right? Like, that's how
Okay.
I was making my money, right? Or it was like buying and selling candy and stuff, right? And it's like, that helped me, build an entrepreneurial drive, right? And ultimately, I still treat this space as it's an entrepreneurial venture, and with that comes its own risks. It comes its own moral considerations, and it's something that you always have to balance. I really think so. And but I really liked how you highlight. I really like how you highlight the moral aspect of it, because that is a part that, like, people kind of gloss over, right?
Yeah.
And I do think it's actually very important, morally speaking, I can go and I can trade, and then I can take it, I can donate it to, you know, a cause that I'm passionate about, right? I can still make good out of, you know, the arbitrage that I'm performing, or the trades that I'm taking, right? I can go and I can do some outreach. I can, you know, also can teach people about how to take financial freedom into their own hands as well, right? So I think it was a very, very excellent point, and I hope it's not lost on anyone. You know, it's important.
No, absolutely. So what is your sleeper pick for 2022 NFT project or crypto that's coming up? Do you have
Ooh,
any?
that's a good question. So
What about you, Penny Slayer? You got anything that anybody could look for before we close out soon here?
You know, I've got nothing, but man, I just, you know, Mufasa just brought up, you know, sneaker slang. So I'm a bit of a sneakerhead myself, Mufasa. So we have that in common. But I was like, man, matter of fact, now that sneakers are having a hard time getting into the States, like, I wonder how much some of my collection is. And I had to go check my bread toes, the Jordan 1 bread toes. They're
nice.
selling for $770 right now, bro.
Yeah, and you
What?
probably only got it for like $300.
I
Yeah.
man, I bought it off the sneakers app.
There you go.
$120. It was,
Wow.
Oh, I never win those.
yeah, it never win, but I won those, and it was an incredible time for me. Worth $1,000 right now. Thank God I've never worn them, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a car that I just bought before COVID, and I've been financing the car, and then, you know, used car prices are going up, so thankfully it's been a decent investment. Honestly, I was appreciating, and I was expecting deep depreciation to kill me there, but
I'll be honest, bro. Sell that car. The used car prices are gonna come back down, and you're gonna wish you sold it.
I know, but I need a car, dude. I don't know what I'm gonna do if I need to get from point A to point B. So like I'm gonna end up
You're
switching into a
in New
cheaper
York,
car.
man. Just take subway, bus, take the dollar vans. They don't have.
Use
When
your
I was young,
brother's car.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, honestly.
Honestly,
when-
bro, you could
I
make yourself
have
a couple
options.
grand, bro.
when I was growing up on the East Coast, they had the what we call the dollar vans. Well, we had another name for them, but you know, there used to be like the dollar vans. It's like a Mexican guy driving, and it's a tight van, and you jump in there. It's like $1. You take it from one spot to another.
I know, yeah, and
I
they
know
have
what you're talking about.
Chinese in our area, the Chinese vans.
Well,
Mhm.
when I was, it was all Mexicans, and then like Chinese people started doing it, Arabs started doing it, but when I was younger, it was only like Hispanic people. Cool, Malik, you have anything before we go?
Yeah, I mean, yo, guys, you should definitely follow Mufasa at nft.phd on Instagram. He's
Yeah,
gonna start
thank you.
posting a whole bunch of useful stuff when it comes to NFTs, the new projects, information, just so you know. And you know, if you're in here and you follow, that means, you know, you're one of the first people to kind of join the new wave that we're adding to NAR. Mufasa's, you know, he's a NAR NFT admin and crypto admin. He knows exactly what he's talking about. I wouldn't have him here if he didn't, right? So that's one. Two, I also wanted to put you guys on. I know there's NFTs and there's stocks, but I also have this bot. It's a it's a Forex bot. It makes me 1% a day.
Is this you, Mufasa? I'm sorry, man.
That's
Go
me.
ahead.
That's me.
Okay, go
That's
ahead.
my personal page.
That's personal.
NFT.phd is still in the works.
Get in before
NFT.phd.
it's released. NFT.phd.
Yeah, still posting a few. I'm still building content, honestly, but bear with me because I'm.
Hey, well, just link up with Malik, man. He's got a lot of that prop money sitting around somewhere, bro.
I could definitely hook you up with some
it
good
up.
content. I'll give you my content creation websites.
Nice.
Pick a style. But yeah, you know, it's a 1% bot, makes me 1% a day. I put 1,200 in it. In January 7th, right now it's about like 31.28, so it more than doubled my money, probably like 150%. I know it's been like 2-3 months as an options trader. That's not what we look for. We want 200% in 2 minutes, but you know, it's the same. You know, you want your long-term investments. You know, if I did the math at the end of the year, next year, it'd be around $1 million. So that's kind of where my headspace is at with that. As after reinvesting as well. But yeah, if you guys are interested, it's a process. So you're gonna have to DM me or something. Or we could do this next week. I don't know if Juan wants to. I'll be a part of it. But
Excellent. Yeah, I got something. I got a couple more slides to go over next week, and I think that should be almost done for the weekly thing.
definitely, guys, give us all follows on the platforms. NAR Trades, Juan's Instagram, and YouTube's literally gold. And if you want to become a trader, like seriously, he has all the information you need. Penny Slayer too. We got to get in contact for sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I
Penny Slayer,
agree.
let me follow you too.
Yeah, hit me up. You have a Twitter, Malik, or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's I can write it in the private chat here.
Okay.
Anybody got AOL.com? No, just
Yeah,
I
actually.
do have an AOL account. Don't make
I
fun of
do.
that.
My,
I used to pay for my minutes, bro.
it's on it's on MySpace.
Yeah, so Malik, it's Penny_Slayer.
Okay, I'll give you a follow right now.
That should be easy.
Yeah, I'll give you a follow too.
Awesome, man. Thanks, guys.
Follow me back. Huh?
Hell yeah, you know it.
Penny_Slayer on Twitter. Gotcha.
All right, guys. Well, everyone, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the live today, and see you guys next week.
Sounds good, guys. You have a good one.